Meet Wraith King, the new best offlaner to play aggressive right now. Hi, I'm Torte, and if you're thinking about that Wraith King offlane is some sort of SEA trolling, well, not quite. With the buffs to 7.38C for Wraith King and Bone Guard, you now have a hero with accelerated farm right from the get-go. But he's now equipped with a strong early to mid-game scaling nuke ability that puts pressure on the enemy team and keeps Wraith King's momentum going forward. Let's break it down. At this point, most players know why Wraith King as a Safelane carry is a generally strong hero, regardless of the meta. As a carry, he farms efficiently and can be tough to take down with his innate ability, providing lifesteal, and his free critical strike ability, Mortal Strike. Previously, Wraith King was mostly known to play with his Spectral Blade facet, which made his late game all the more potent. However, with recent changes to his Bone Guard facet in 7.38, it has become the default facet choice for Wraith King players. In 7.38C, the Bone Guard facet was buffed again, and it is one of the primary reasons we are now seeing Wraith King as a popular aggressive pause through offlaner. In 7.38C, Bone Guard was changed in two major ways. One, the cooldown was reduced to 42 seconds, and two, Wraith King skeletons from Bone Guard last 46 seconds longer than the cooldown. This means that Bone Guard has a literal 100% uptime, making your skeletons constantly available. In other words, as Wraith King himself is farming or fighting, he can summon his Bone Guard skeletons to farm new skeletons for Wraith King to summon once his initial Bone Guard skeletons have primed out. This is massive and hugely improves the Wraith King jungling, his item timings, and how much earlier he can come online. So whether Wraith King is offlane or safelane, his focus revolves around keeping his skeleton's active time constant and preparing for the next time Wraith King can summon new skeletons. Especially as an offlaner, because you have 3 jungle camps nearby, 2 by the Wisdom Rune, and 1 hard camp next to your offlane, you can really shift between laning and jungling depending on where the creep wave is. But efficient farming is not what is making Wraith King as an offlaner meta at 8k MMR, but rather the second major change in 7.38C, Wraith Fire Blast. That makes it that both the cooldown was lowered for the ability, but also they increased its value at level 10 with an additional slow duration. But here's the kicker. It also increases Wraith Fire's Blast's burn for the extra seconds too. So in essence, Wraith Fire Blast has massive scaling potential leading up to and at level 10, where the hero is dealing 400 plus damage on an 8-second cooldown, while the debuff, including the stun, lasts 5.6 seconds. Now at level 15, we can see we can boost Wraith Fire Blast again by increasing its stun duration. So suddenly you now have a 1.4 second effective cooldown when trying to chain 2 Wraith Fire Blasts back to back. Offlane Wraith King achieves 2 birds with 1 stone. Your new and improved Bone Guard means you can efficiently farm right from the lane stage with ease, while the scaling Wraith Fire Blast with scaling level 10 and 15 talents means Wraith Fire can be an early fighter with a lot of nuking and crit damage from his abilities and attacks. So what's the build? It's similar to Wraith King as a pause 1 carry with some slight tweaks. For starters, after a level in your Wraith Fire Blast, Wraith King grabs 2 points in Bone Guard to start building up skeleton charges. As mentioned, you will eventually use those skeleton charges to start farming nearby jungle camps when the lane is pushed. So we're not grabbing a point in Mortal Strike until level 4, and that means last hitting will be tougher for Wraith King initially. Now secondly, after maxing Bone Guard first, we max out Wraith Fire Blast, and that is again to allow Wraith King to be an offensive offlaner rather than just a passive farming carry. You are still efficiently farming with Wraith King and your skeletons, but now you have the option to force fights with Blink Dagger and or Blade Mail, knowing you have a strong Wraith Fire Blast to initiate and secure kills. Soul Ring can be important too if you find yourself being short on mana due to all the blasting that you're spamming. And I should mention that hero kills in 7.38 also grants you 2 Bone Guard skeleton charges, so there is an incentive to go for fights as well. Now despite your new offensiveness, Radiance is still an essential item for the hero. With this new efficiency in farm, you can hit Radiance around 15, maybe max 20 minutes, and it bolsters your farming even more while amplifying Wraith King's survivability with both evasion and mischance from the burn. Couple that with Wraith King's early armor from phase boots and blade mail means he is very difficult to fight head on. What's more is that Radiance also synergizes with Wraith King's reincarnation, meaning that enemies have to kill Wraith King twice, and that amount of time means WK is burning his foes for a significant chunk of their health. Radiance also accelerates Wraith King's farming to reach late game items. For the late game items, we can include your standard Assault Cuirass, raising your own armor while lowering enemies so your Mortal Strike can deal more damage on attack. Black King Bar is a no-brainer, and rushing Octarine Core or even a refresher means Wraith Fire Blast comes off cooldown before the damage is even done being dealt. I've also seen items like Ag Shard, which can be useful since you'll be using Wraith Fire Blast significantly more, as well as Ag Scepter being valuable because on top of its team-based contribution, it also lowers the cooldown of Reincarnation, furthering the cooldown reduction you were seeking with Octarine Core. So, all in all, for once, picking Wraith King is not a troll pick only found in the depth of hell called SEA server, but rather there's been a mistake from the developers in buffing up Wraith Fire Blast and Bone Guard too well. This gave Wraith King the best of both worlds, a safe and efficient way to farm during the lane stage, while also giving him an overzealous nuking damaging ability in the mid game. While I am sure 7.3 AD will probably nerf this hero to being just a strong +1 carry, for now this is your opportunity to really take advantage of a hero that is just too strong and all-encompassing as an offlaner. If you don't really see any opportunities for kills with an early levels in Wraith Fire Blast, you can always just opt for a standard farming machine as a late game carry in the offlane with Wraith King.